You want answers?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
You want answers?
You have offended my family.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth.
And you have offended the Shaolin Temple.
You can't handle the truth.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Radical Rant.
All right, I've written about idiot Miguel Lopez acting like an ass and embarrassing marijuana legalization efforts in Colorado before, but this time he may have committed a crime. Now, you may have remembered a previous rant of mine called It Only Takes One Idiot, or How to Kill Marijuana Reform. In it, I tell tales of activists who engage in tactics that, from a public relations perspective, endanger the very legalization of marijuana they claim to be fighting for. In that rant, I described Miguel Lopez as an idiot because he got into the face of a legislator screaming about secret police, leading that legislator to tear up a patient-friendly medical marijuana amendment. Then, a group called Colorado 420 Coalition, which included Laura Creho's Cannabis Therapy Institute, actually circulated the video via YouTube as an example of how the legislator was out of line. Now, in another rant I followed that up with, called Stoners Against Legalization 2, Colorado Boogaloo, I told you how Lopez, Creho, and two other geniuses, Robert Chase and Kathleen Trippy, announced their opposition to what they call the MPP-DPA Sensible Safer initiative, which is officially known as the Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol petition that Brian Vincente and Mason Tvert have been co-petitioning on here, and it's currently gathering signatures for the ballot. Now, when I told you about that rant, you got to read some, or get to hear some remarks from Kathleen Trippy, one of these people, who argued to oppose that legalization. To oppose legalization, this safer initiative, this Regulate Marijuana initiative. And she said, quote, "This will be Prop 19 all over again, and we will help kill it with smiles on our faces." And for extra nuttiness, you also got Robert Chase accusing Normal's Parliamentano of being a fascist, and someone named Corey Donahue opining that if only 6 plants in 1 ounce are legalized, then it's not legalization. Okay, well, these same folks are at it again. Miguel Lopez, in particular, has gone too far. This isn't just the shenanigans of an ignorant zealot. This is a theft against democracy itself. As reported today in the Colorado Independent, marijuana legalization advocate Mason Tvert today filed a formal complaint with the Secretary of State's office alleging that opponents of his group have stolen signed petitions from people circulating them on behalf of Tvert's Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol organization. The complaint says that on July 17th, Miguel Lopez took a petition out of the hands of someone trying to sign it at Denver's Skyline Park, threw it in the trash, and then stood in front of the trash to prevent anyone from retrieving it. The complaint alleges that a few minutes later, Corey Donahue removed the petition from the trash and gave it to Robert Lopez, who then left the scene with the petition, which Tvert said had around a dozen signatures on it. Miguel Lopez and Donahue are known to oppose Tvert's effort and to support a broader approach to legalization. The Colorado Independent earlier reported that they supported Legalize 2012, but the director of that effort said they are not affiliated with Legalize 2012. Laura Creho, the director, said, quote, "They have no capacity whatever with Legalize 2012, end quote." Yeah, right. Miguel Lopez isn't officially part of Legalize 2012, though Lopez has been allied with Cannabis Therapy Institute, which is Laura Creho's group, and Cannabis Therapy Institute is a part of Legalize 2012's Citizen Advisory Board. And at the legislature and in anti-regulate marijuana like alcohol activism, they've been working hand in hand on the same side of the issue, issuing just about the same opinions. But no, he's not officially part of Legalize 2012. Oh, and speaking of that, neither is Corey Donahue. You might get the name Donahue there, the guy who removed the petition from the trash. Though Cannabis Therapy Institute has worked with him in the past and praised him for his activism. Now, it was really hard for me to verify who's tied with whom officially in all these organizations, because most of Legalize 2012's Citizen Advisory Board organizations don't list their board members' names on their websites. So we really don't know who's supporting what out there. We go back to the Colorado Independent in their report here. They say, quote, when reached by phone, Miguel Lopez said it was Tvert's organization that was interrupting an event his group was sponsoring and that the petitioner had been asked to leave. Oh, okay. So you were sponsoring an event and somebody was there with a petition to legalize marijuana and you kicked him out. God, why does that sound so familiar to me? Anyway, quote, their petition was creating a distraction. This is Lopez saying this. Their petition was creating a distraction while we were holding a rally and giving an educational talk. The individual we took the petition from was not trying to sign it. He was trying to destroy it. They were warned not to be there, end quote, said Lopez. Okay, so wait a minute. You admit you took the petition from the guy, but you say he was trying to destroy it. So to stop him from trying to destroy it, you threw it in the trash. Right. Makes a lot of sense. Now, Tvert said that Lopez's account is a fantasy. Quote, that is entirely false based on the accounts of all the witnesses, but I wouldn't expect them to acknowledge what they did, end quote. All right. Now, while Miguel Lopez was allegedly actively thwarting the democratic process, his brother in idiocy, Corey Donahue, was getting himself arrested trying to thwart the organization of the democratic process itself. This is from the Boulder Daily Camera. A Boulder activist was arrested this week after refusing to leave a meeting at the public library that was organized by advocates of a statewide marijuana legalization initiative. Michael Corey Donahue, age 28, was booked into the Boulder County Jail on suspicion of trespassing and using fighting words with a police officer. That's an interesting charge, using fighting words with a police officer. Anyway, the incident began at about 7 p.m. Tuesday after members of a coalition, including the Colorado chapter of NORML and Safer Alternative for Enjoyable Recreation, convened an instructional meeting for volunteers who are circulating petitions. Donahue is an active proponent of marijuana legalization, but said he opposes the efforts led by the coalition because the measure it is pushing would be only a limited legalization of the drug. He is instead hoping for complete legalization of marijuana for adults 18 or older. So basically, Corey Donahue, who doesn't like the so-called MPP, DPA, Safer, Sensible Initiative, whatever, doesn't like that initiative, so the people who were trying to organize to get those petitions out, he goes to their meeting and is disruptive, right? If you don't agree with the petition, that's fine. Go start your own petition, but you don't try to mess with the people who are working on the competing petition. And as far as this, not the legalization would be limited, so therefore it's not real legalization. My God, I've heard that before. And this is the problem. Lopez, Donahue, Creho, Chase, Trippy, that's just Colorado. I could name you a whole bunch in California and Oregon and Washington as well. And people like this are what I call the treat it like tomatoes crowd, or TILT, treat it like tomatoes crowd. Complete legalization in their mind means once you turn 18, you can grow all you like, you can sell all you like, you can possess all you like, all with no taxes, no licenses, no regulations. Now, never mind that selling your own tomatoes is a project laden with taxes, licenses, and regulations, and Colorado already has plenty of laws to comply with regarding tomato sales. But these tilters, they're just true believer zealots who cannot be reasoned with. They really think they can put a measure on the ballot where marijuana is equated with tomatoes and the majority of the public will vote for it. What they are blind to is the fact that tomatoes don't get you high. Nobody is worried that you'll pig out on tomatoes and get behind the wheel of a car. No parent is concerned that their kid will jump the fence and steal your tomatoes for a chips and salsa party. And speaking of kids, if it is like tomatoes, why an 18-year-old limit? Why an age limit? I mean, the fact that you support an 18-year-old limit on this acknowledges that you know it's not like tomatoes. We don't limit tomatoes to children, do we? Now, there may be legitimate causes for opposing regulate marijuana like alcohol, and there's no controversy in running a competing legalized 2012 initiative. Colorado there would be joining Oregon, Washington, and California in that respect. It used to be we had no legalization efforts. Now each of these states has 2 or more ballot initiatives competing to legalize marijuana. Competition in the marketplace of ideas is a good thing, and the more shots we have at the ballot box, the better. However, tactics that are designed to obstruct and thwart the other ideas cannot be tolerated. It'll be difficult enough for voters to remember which initiative they've signed during the petition process. Reformers should be encouraging voters to sign all the marijuana legalization petitions, not only to place them all on the ballot and let the voters decide which plan is best, but also to ensure the confused voter hearing, well, don't sign that one, doesn't mistakenly pass up on your petition. Besides, the opponents of legalization will be working in lockstep. We cannot afford to have our own community aiding them in thwarting